Hi YouTube family, my name is Elysia English and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to create this inventory that I'm going to work on during this video. I have a huge show coming up and I've been working on creating some smalls, some items that are less expensive for people to buy that anyone can fit into their budget. And the best of all is I'm using as many upcycled materials as I possibly can. So during this video, I'm going to show 5 designs that I'm creating for quick, easy ornaments to make. This past week, we've been gathering a lot of materials that we are going to need for the inventory to take items to our show. This is the first time that I'm participating in a 4-day show, and I'm really excited. The presenters of this show do a phenomenal job, and it's all about holiday cheer. I'm really excited to be creating some inventory to take, and I want to show you guys all the things that I'm working on over the next couple of weeks, the materials, where I got them, different things and ideas that I'm taking to the show. I have a 10 by 15 space, which is a huge amount of room to be able to take a lot of inventory. So I'm really excited about all of my new designs. I participated in this show for spring, which was my first spring show with this presenter, and things went really well. I noticed a few things that I wanted to change when running such a big show, and so I'm really taking those into consideration for this Christmas show. So I knew that with this show, I needed to have some smaller items that were at a lower price point between the $5 and $15 mark. And so I'm really working on some ornaments that I'm going to take to the show that are in a price point that everyone can afford. This gives me an opportunity to be really thrifty with the items that I'm going to be making, which makes it a lot of fun because it's always challenging to create things from almost nothing, which keeps my profit margin a lot higher. And so I'm using a lot of scraps around the shop, natural and upcycled materials, and I want to show you what I'm creating. So let's get creating. The first ornament that I'm going to work on is an adorable penguin, and it's made with a pine cone. The family and I have been collecting all different types of pine cones, and so I'm going to use one for this first project. I would like my pine cone to not be quite so long, so I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. I don't want my pine cones to be 6 inches, I want them more like 3 inches. So I'm going to cut this down and then we're going to start our penguins. Once I cut so far, then I just twist the end off and it just breaks off. And there I've shortened my pine cone. I picked up a pack of 12 styrofoam balls for $1.20. This means that I can make 12 penguins for about $1.50 for all of my materials that I need for this project. The styrofoam ball is going to go on top, which means I'm going to need a hole in the bottom. So while I'm painting the styrofoam ball, I'm going to stick a piece of dowel into the bottom, which will make holding it and painting it a lot easier, and then we're going to take it off and glue it onto the top. So now that I have my head on here, I'm going to use a marker and draw the lines where I want my black and white of my penguin to go, and then we're going to paint it on. I'm going to paint the whole styrofoam ball black. I'm going to let that dry and then be able to get ready on my next step. Then I'll do a second coat. Using some orange felt, I'm going to create some feet, and then I'm going to paint a nose bead while I'm waiting for my head to dry. The feet will get glued on the bottom just like that. I have a container of small beads, and this one is an oval shape. I'm going to paint it in an orangey color to create the beak of my penguin. Using black felt, I'm going to cut out 2 wing shapes. So I have my beak, my feet, my wings, and my belly. And so on the belly, I'm going to create a little bit of a white oval here using some dry brushing on the paint with the paintbrush on the pine cone. I decided that I'm going to give this penguin a little red scarf. Come on. My mother-in-law introduced me to these permanent chalk paint markers, and it's literally changed my life making ornaments the past couple of days because they're so easy to work with. and I had no idea that they even existed, so I'm pretty excited about them. So what I'm gonna do is draw on where I'm going to make the white on my penguin face. That way, I know where I'm going to put my white paint. So now I'm going to fill in where I just drew the outline with white paint. I could color the whole thing using the chalk marker, but I want to use actual paint for this because I want to save my chalk paint marker for a bunch of other projects I'm doing since they work so well doing lettering. And so I'm going to use just plain white paint and fill in my shape. I'll probably do a couple of coats to make sure it's nice bright white. Now that my bead is dry, I'm going to shove it in where I want it to go on the face, which is just right at the peak of this little arch that I made. And I'm going to stick it in by applying some pressure. My tip for making eyes to make them the perfect circle is using the tip end of your paintbrush and then just dip it in the paint. You can test it on the side if you want to. And then I just put it on. See, it makes a perfect circle. And then I can do the same on this side. I'm trying to show the camera. And there I have two perfect matching eyes. I'm going to hollow out just a little bit bigger of a circle here so that I can hot glue this onto the top of my pine cone a little more comfortably. So I'm going to take out a little bit more of the styrofoam without compromising too much of it. Using hot glue, I'm going to attach the head to the pine cone. Leave me a like if you think he's cute. Using a little eye hook, I'm going to screw this into the top of his head and then apply my ribbon for my hanger for the ornament. And then I'm going to use my little scarf that I made and put a scarf on. I actually really like them with or without a scarf. I think you turned out really cute. On to our next ornament. Ornament number 2, I get to use my favorite tool in the shop, which is my scroll saw. I've drawn out 3 different shapes on some cardstock and I'm going to trace them onto a piece of scrap plywood. I'm gonna take several of these to the show. I think they're gonna be really cute and I'm going to make them in 2 different colors, red and teal. So what I've done is I've drawn sort of the silhouette of the front of that really cute, trendy, vintage red truck that you see on everything. Haven't made anything with that. It's kind of a trend that I've sort of skipped over, but I do really think it's cute. So I'm going to make a few ornaments. So I have the back of the truck, and then I have like the tailgate of the truck, which will go on top in wood cut out, and then a tree that will go like this that I can paint, and then I'm gonna put some wording on it. So I'm going to trace this onto the plywood, and we're gonna cut it out. Normally I trace things on wood with pencil, but for the sake of you being able to see, I'm just using a black pen. I'm just using a scrap piece of 1/2-inch thick plywood and I group my images together so that I can make enough room to maybe do even another set on this scrap piece. That means my cost for this project would be nothing. I'm just using scrap. Using sandpaper, I'm going to make sure that all of my edges are sanded nice and smooth. When creating ornaments, you want to make sure that the fronts, sides, and backs are all done the same. That way when they rotate around, you can see everything. I decided to create one in a vintage red and one in a vintage teal. While the trucks are drying, I'm going to move on and paint my trees green. Now that all my trees and truck pieces are done and dry, I'm going to distress them using some really soft sandpaper. I'm painting some gray bumpers on both of the trucks, and then I'm going to make some black wheels. Next step is to put the words on the back of the pickup truck. So I've created my own stencil here. I'm going to weed out all of the lettering that I don't need and transfer it onto the back of the truck. Using a little makeup sponge, I'm going to sponge on the lettering. I'm using an eye hook in the center of the top of the ornament to be able to loop my ribbon through to make a hanger. Sometimes I can use a pencil or a pen or something to help twist it along if it's hard to reach in the area that you're applying it. I went on the hunt for buffalo plaid ribbon and found that they were about $15 a roll. I was able to actually buy a 15 pack of multi kinds of ribbon for under $3 just looking in the bargain section. In my multi-pack, I was able to find a couple pieces of actual plaid anyways, which are perfect. So I'm going to use the red and black for the red truck and the white and black for the teal truck. These turned out really cute. For ornaments number 3, I actually placed an order for some 3.5-inch size tree cookies, just the wood tree slices online. They're very time consuming, and in this weather we've been having lately, the wood was super wet and I needed it to be dry by the time my show came. So I placed an order online to order some of these from Amazon, and it turns out they came super tiny. Look at how small my 3.5-inch ornament pieces were. So I was super disappointed with these, but I knew that for the price that I paid for this bag, it wasn't worth returning them and that I could turn them into a different kind of ornament. So I'm going to turn these into really cute snowmen. There's a variety of sizes in this bag, so I've chosen a large, medium, and small, and I'm going to overlap where the holes are on these to create a snowman. And using a piece of trim, I used my scroll saw and created some little snowman hats. That way I had a little bit of detail on them, and I was able to get quite a few out of a small piece. So then I'm going to make a hat for the snowman, add some natural arms, and paint on some faces. I really like the natural wood, but I'm going to create a couple just with the white, kind of leaving a little bit of the wood outline, and see if I like those as well. You like them?
Yeah, it's cute.
Using hot glue, I'm going to put them together, and then I'm going to add a little scarf. turned out really cute. Now I'm gonna attach a piece of jute to the top to make them actually hang. Totally upcycled and natural ornaments. Ornament number 4 is all about yarn, and we're going to make yarn stars. I was donated 7 gigantic boxes of yarn from a lady who was clearing out an elderly woman's home, and they were able to donate it to me for my art studio. Now that my art studio is closed, I'm left with a lot of yarn, and so I'm going to use some of it for this project. I've chosen 3 different colors that have lots of flecks in them to give it some texture. I've never made these before, so we're going to see how they turn out. I'm going to draw an old-fashioned star like you would in school, because you're not going to see the lines when I'm done, and see if it's the right size for what I think I need. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to just straighten it out a little bit with my ruler and make sure that I kind of have the right dimensions. Using a knife, I'm going to cut out the star. Using a little dab of hot glue, I'm going to glue on my first piece, and it doesn't really matter where you attach it because you're going to wrap the whole star. The fun of these stars is that you can wrap it any way you want. For ornament number 5, it was all about nature, and my mother-in-law and I cut up a whole bunch of wood tree cookies ourselves, which were really more the size which I was trying to order originally online. She had some dried logs, and we were able to cut quite a few slices. We're going to use these for our 5th ornament. To draw the lettering on these wood tree cookies, I'm going to use these permanent chalk markers. I have a white, gold, blue, and silver. I've really been enjoying these, especially for doing lettering. So you don't need to have a fancy machine to be able to make your own lettering. You could just use chalk markers and draw whatever words you want. You could do baby's first Christmas or a specific family name. There could be lots of different options you could do for these ornaments. It's amazing how you can really make a lot of projects using very little materials and just stuff you can find around the home or even in the trash. Ornament number 1 finished up with these adorable penguins. I think they're super cute. I really didn't have to buy anything for this. I can make about 25 of these for under $2. Ornament number 2 was these adorable vintage trucks. I just used some scrap wood, some eye hooks, and some ribbon. Ornament number 3 were these cute snowmen that I made out of my missized wood tree cookies that I ordered. I really love that they have the natural arms. I was able to use a piece of scrap trim to make the hats, and just a little bit of paint and some ribbon really finished them off. Using all of the donated yarn, I was able to make these yarn stars, which I think are super cute, and I love the textures. My mother-in-law's logs turned into great ornaments for number 5. You could really personalize these with absolutely anything. Hit that like button if you like these ornaments, and let me know in the comment section which one of these ornaments was your favorite, 1 through 5. I have so many projects that I'm working on over the next couple of weeks. I only have a little more than 3 weeks to finish getting ready for my show. We've created so many designs. We're gonna show you almost every single day what things we're working on. We're gonna be able to clip everything together so you won't miss out on anything that we're working on. We're also gonna be filming at the show and showing you how that all happens and all the things that are happening behind the scenes. I can't wait to show you all the things we've been working on. If you're not already part of our YouTube family, you wanna join to not miss out on all the content we have coming this month. Thanks so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next project.